folks, and welcome to Garbage Theater. Tonight's installment, Blood Beat. I'm your host, Chase, with my co-hosts, Blake and John.
I don't even want to say anything.
Silence.
Mystical
Exactly the reaction this movie should cause. I hope you didn't tune in tonight, folks, hoping that we have some answers for you about what the hell this movie was about.
Oh, really? I was hoping you guys did.
I got nothing.
No.
This movie posed so many questions and answered nothing.
Oh, yeah, I have a lot of questions.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Definitely the most enigmatic film we've ever watched, I think.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into it, because I'm sure we all have opinions.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate, the soundtrack.
It was tight.
Wait.
Tight.
First off, I think this is the second episode in a row we haven't said, let's get this shit show on the road.
Oh
my God.
What? We're slipping.
Yeah.
What did this movie do to us?
Exactly.
Well, say it, Blake.
Let's get this shit show on the road.
All right. Now we can actually start.
Yes. The soundtrack. Yeah. Oh, my God.
It's just someone testing the settings on their new 1981 Casio keyboard.
Yeah.
Just bleeps and bloops.
I think what it was is, like, somebody had a friend that had, like, one of those badass Casios or something at the time. And they were like, yeah, man, this guy's a genius. He makes it do all kind of crazy sounds. And, you know, they got him to start and nobody had the balls to tell him, yeah, this isn't working. They just let him go.
We're going to use it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know, man. It's just a bunch of bleeps and bloops.
It was... Is that
the sweeps, the creeps, and the bleeps.
Am I thinking of the right director, the Carpenter that had all the crazy synthesizers and all that?
Yeah, he used a lot of synthesizers. He did the music himself, though, most of the time.
Right. That's okay. So I'm thinking of the right person.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say poor man's Carpenter, but I think
even that's too.
I don't know if that's what they were going for, or was this his heyday, or I don't know.
No, it's right around. It's in there. It's around the same time.
Maybe that's what
it's around.
I thought maybe that's what they were trying to do, and they just really missed the mark.
It could be. I
don't know. Or maybe it was just a lot of mystical boinging, and I don't know.
I didn't hate all of the music. Like, some of it was all right. But
I agree to disagree.
All right.
I am glad that when the title card Blood Beat came up, they cleared up that it's a heartbeat is what the blood beat is.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how none of us assumed that.
I'm hoping that
we all went straight to music beats.
Yeah, I'm hoping me and you had the same reaction, because whenever I heard the heartbeat, I was just like, oh.
I wrote down, oh, it's a heartbeat.
It's funny that we figured that out, but how it relates to the content of the film is still a big old question mark.
Yeah,
nothing about a heart comes up.
No. And then the title gets stabbed by a knife instead of why didn't they put a katana in there or something? It's just some random knife.
I don't know.
That bothered me.
Just add it to the heap of questions.
Yeah.
Because
somebody should have put a katana through this thing before they decided to film it.
Oh, God. So we open to a rural Wisconsin landscape. A hunter daintily skips through the woods. He kneels down, pauses his Walkman, and knocks an arrow and dramatically lets it loose. And we cut away to him arriving at home to show his wife his latest kill. And he's super pumped about this.
I'm glad that you picked up on that too, because I was like, okay, if you're an avid hunter, and he's an older gentleman, not extremely old, but I'm sure he's killed a few things if he's that much of a hunter.
Yeah, and he's a bow hunter. I mean, like, you got to work at that.
Yeah, you don't just start that on day one. So he comes home and he is like he won the showcase on The Price is Right. But it wasn't even that great of a deer. It was just a doe, like a medium-sized doe. And he's like losing his mind.
It was basically a golden retriever.
It wasn't even that good of a deer.
It's as if he's been hunting his whole life and he finally bagged one.
Yeah.
And it's like a baby.
It's not big.
I don't understand how he hunts with a Walkman going. He's just.
Well, I was pissed off that he took the headphones off and then hit the stop button because I was like, okay, it would have heard it. It would have heard the fucking music.
Mm.
You know, if you're that close to get off a shot with a bow, that deer's gonna hear the whatever I don't know, the latest Rat album you were playing in that Walkman.
Listen to Rat. I put down that he was probably listening to Duran Duran.
Oh, my wife's gonna be mad at you now.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm not knocking Duran Duran.
Oh, okay. It doesn't matter. She's only listened to like one episode, so it's okay.
Okay.
Just watch your mouth. Don't. I know you're not knocking Duran Duran, but you're treading on unsafe ground.
So, anyway.
Yeah, let's stop talking about things that are good and.
Yeah. So he dragged his wife out to show her. Well, I assumed it was his wife.
Yeah.
Come to find out later, that's not the case. But she's not really having any of it. She tries to scamper away, and he calms her down, and they go inside for coffee.
I thought she was just upset that you called me out in the cold to see this piss-ass deer.
She's like, yeah, you kill deers all the time.
Yeah, great. So... she's expecting her kids to arrive soon, and we find out Gary, the hunter, tells her that when they arrive, he's going to announce that he intends to marry their mother. So they're not married.
Right.
They're living in sin. So she isn't having this either, and because she's been married before, and she's not going through any of that again. She insists that they're okay the way they are, and they can keep going like this. Frustrated, he returns to his Walkman and goes out to clean his kill. And he's listening to like classical music. It's like a best of Mozart cassette.
I couldn't tell if he was listening to that music or if that's just the music they decided to play for the soundtrack.
Is that soundtrack or is that what he's hearing?
Right.
Yeah, I had the same problem. I wasn't sure.
I don't know.
Because they play it later and he does not have headphones on.
Yeah.
Rules. Remember, the director thought he was shooting this widescreen.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of sharp tax we're dealing with here.
Add it to the questions pile with no answers.
So as he's outside gutting the deer, the kids arrive, Ted and Dolly. And he happily greets them as Ted brings his quote-unquote good friend Sarah out of the car. And Gary tries to give her a nice bloody handshake, and she recoils in horror at the grisly scene before her.
That's another thing. Like, people are coming over. So you have a couple options. You can either wait to skin the deer till after they've arrived, or, show a little tact and not skin the deer from the oak in the front yard and extend your bloody paw to the new girlfriend.
Just have it splayed open in the lawn.
Yeah.
That was his whole plan. He was like, I'm going to go outside and gut this deer and wait for the kids.
And then...
it was a time-killing gutting.
Look, I've lived in South Louisiana a very good portion of my life. And I've walked into people's yards and they are skinning a deer. You don't shake hands with them.
Yeah. They're like, sorry, I got deer all over me.
Look, if you have to have some formal hello, you just kind of bump elbows. Like... Yeah. I've done that before.
He's still really amped up because this is the first kill he's ever made. He's not thinking straight.
Yeah, he's got that adrenaline just coursing through his veins. I was a little shocked at how much this woman's kids seem to love the man that's fucking her right now. Like, how long have they been together that they're not married, but the kids have such a close relationship with this man?
It seems like they like him a lot more than her.
I'm pretty sure they say they've only been together for like 6 months.
Well, this dude must be a fucking delight because they were all about him.
Oh, Gary.
Poor Gary.
So, Mom comes out to greet them and has a tense moment when she sees Sarah, as it's illustrated by the sound of bamboo clacking together. She invites them all in, but Sarah lingers back for a snap zoom glance at the deer carcass hanging from the tree. So she doesn't like the deer carcass.
Yeah.
This is the first zoom in the movie that goes like way farther than I expected it to.
Okay, like, now zoom in, go. Whoa.
All right, you're inside the deer now.
Yeah. We can now see the deer cells.
So inside, as Dolly distracts them with her fawning over the Christmas tree, Mom gives a stern glare at Sarah. Ted shows Sarah his mother's quote-unquote paintings as he pulls some random rifle out from behind the Christmas tree and starts aiming it all over the living room.
He's like, "Hey, Sarah, check out my gun." Like, first thing.
Yeah. So
he says
does
that
she not know that he's a hunter whenever they're goosing in college? Like, that never came up?
Yeah, it seems like she's
not
completely unprepared for like dealing with his family.
Right.
Yeah. Backstories? Nah. Yeah. Just throw them all together.
I was thinking maybe Ted's mom was looking at Sarah weird because of her hair. She's got like this weird... She's got like a bowl cut in the front and like a mullet in the back. It's got like a bowlet.
Well, Ted's mom doesn't have any room to talk because she looks like Wes Studi with a pixie cut.
Dude, the fact that we are on such the same page, my God. My notes say Last of the Mohicans olive oil.
Well, that's really weird because
holy shit.
Yeah, I have her written down as Budget Shelley Duvall.
Wow, we're all on the same page.
Budget Shelley Duvall / Magua.
Yeah.
Oh Christ! So
shit, we should end it right there. Good night, folks.
Ted then says that his mother spends hours at a time in her room, almost hypnotized, painting the day away. Gary comes in and puts some music on. Dolly's under the tree going, and this one's for me, and this one's for me, and this one's for me, because she's 8 years old.
Yeah, not in college.
Yeah. And then I swear to God, the camera pans over, and Ted is aiming the gun at Dolly's head.
I didn't catch that.
He's just casually holding it, pointing at the back of her head.
And he's like constantly messing with the bolt on this rifle.
I was about to say that. How many times is this dude going to open and close the bolt on his rifle?
Every single time he touches it. That's how many times.
They told him, fiddle with the gun, and that's the one moving part he figured out, so
it was fiddle with the gun, but don't pull the trigger, so that's the only thing he could really do.
Because it is an actual gun.
Right.
So let's... So, from here, Dolly finds a present addressed to Sarah under the tree. And Ted questions how did they know that Sarah was coming? It was supposed to be a surprise. A mother knows everything. That's not an answer, Mom.
Yeah.
This is really weird. You need to elaborate on this.
You can't just say that and stop.
Yeah. Way to be more fucking creepy, Mom.
Ted takes Sarah into the guest room, where she immediately has a red-tinted vision of the room and a crying baby. This baby comes back several times throughout the movie. I don't know who the baby is.
I don't know.
Is this the mom? Is this another child of the mom?
Don't know.
No, I don't know.
Ted says that the last person that stayed here in the guest room was a psychoanalyst who just packed up one day and left. And that's all we ever hear about him.
Yep.
Yeah. He's not a part of, he's not a clue to this mystery.
He's nothing.
He's nothing.
So Sarah starts hassling Ted about how he said that his mom was supposed to be cool, man, as they make the bed. And Ted blames his mother's attitude on the fact that Dolly's quitting school right before Christmas. And Sarah says that she was quite scared by the looks his mom was giving her. But he says not to let it bother her. His mom just likes to impress his friends by casting them silent, menacing glares.
Yeah. Like
now, he makes mention to Dolly saying that she was quitting school several times throughout the movie, but I don't think I ever heard her say that.
Dolly never says it.
Yeah,
okay.
we don't get that scene for some reason.
Nope. And he says that, it's Dolly's fault. She comes in the door and the first thing she tells Mom is that she's quitting school. That never happened. So, so he pulls her under the bed as she explains that she feels that his mom's is reading her thoughts and is in her mind, and she's scrutinizing everything about me. Random shot of a golden Buddha statue.
Sarah's been in this place for 5 minutes and she thinks this guy's mom is reading her thoughts. That's crazy.
That dude's got red flags everywhere and he's just not paying attention.
Nope. Yeah, I picked this girl up at the bus station. I thought it would be good to bring her home. I know nothing about her. She knows nothing about us. What could go wrong?
She hates hunting and deer, but that's all we do around this house because our TV is 5 inches. And
it requires you to wear headphones while viewing it.
Right. And Gary's always hogging the headphones. when he's not goosing Mom, he's hogging the headphones. But, we'll just look past all these things and we'll be good friends, as he put it. Which, if you're the girl and you get introduced, you're goosing a dude in college. I know we've all been there. And you get introduced as my good friend whenever he brings you home. You should be a little upset.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not how you want to be introduced.
Right.
I thought we were more than that.
Yeah.
I'm at your house for Christmas.
This is an acquaintance of mine. So the subtitles pop up and say eerie whooshing. And it's not the last time it says that. Sarah apologizes to him and says that she just must be tired. And we get some more eerie whooshing as they start to fool around. Sarah tries to stop him and tells him that she feels like that his mom is in the room with him right now. Downstairs, Mom is painting when she shuts her eyes and starts getting flashes of Ted and Sarah getting busy. Sarah repeatedly tells Ted to stop, to the point that it's getting uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah, like she's struggling to push him off of her.
Yeah.
But his persistence prevails. Downstairs, Mom finishes her little psychic peep show and goes on painting. Later, another hunter, a.k.a. the Red Baron, is talking on his radio to the lone painter as he flies 120 miles an hour down the road in his Dodge Ram hardtop, catching air.
Catching air.
Jesus Christ.
He's driving incredibly fast and talking on the radio, probably drunk.
And what gets
definitely drunk.
The radio call wasn't really necessary because by the time he gets in contact with somebody and they let everybody know that he's coming, he's hauling ass through the driveway.
He's already in the living room.
Right.
And then back out to get more booze. So, back at the house, Dolly runs out to Gary to let him know that the Red Baron is on his way to go hunting. Gary tells her to help him with the firewood first that he's chopping and starts to stack it up in her arms, which she immediately throws to the ground as soon as Uncle Red Baron Pete pulls up.
Yeah.
And why are they going? Why are they going hunting? Like, why did Gary go hunting already this morning? If they were just going to go hunting later.
What else are you going to do?
I don't know. Read, play Monopoly, watch TV.
Play Monopoly. Play a 2-player game of Monopoly that never ends.
If you had an old lady that is as all three of us have described, that sits in a room and paints like creepily all day, you'd be out in the great outdoors as much as you possibly could as well.
Oh Lord! But Gary's very much in love with Kathy.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Like he wants to marry her. He wants all that. Like she's not sure she even wants to be with Gary anymore.
well,
So
must be slim pickings in that town.
yeah. So later we cut to later in seemingly a completely different movie as a bunch of horse riders come charging over the hills.
Did anybody else notice there wasn't enough horses for how many people ended up on the hunt?
Yep, there was only the 4 horsemen of the Wisconsin apocalypse.
Yep.
And then there was like 6 of them.
Well, no.
Ted, Sarah, Dolly, Uncle Pete, Gary, they're all there.
Yeah. So we can only assume that Uncle Pete like flew there in his magic red truck
Yeah.
and got there before all the horses, I guess. Maybe that cleans that up.
I was trying to see if Gary and Uncle Pete were doubled up on a horse, but they weren't.
That'd be awesome.
So they get to where they're going to hunt. Ted gives Sarah a gun, which she's never even held before. So this seems like a good idea.
Yeah. What's up with that?
None of this.
They crawl under.
None of this hunting seems legit. Like
No.
Gary's leading them around like it's some kind of army maneuvers. He's like doing hand signals and fucking like rolling under barbed wire.
Yeah, they crawl under a barbed wire fence onto what I'm assuming is private property to go skulk through the woods.
Exactly. But then 2 of them have bows and arrows and the rest of them have rifles. This isn't making any sense.
It's all over the place.
And then when they sight a deer, all of them are aiming at the deer.
Yeah, they're gonna absolutely
they're gonna obliterate that deer.
Like, what are y'all planning on doing?
Just a couple of
It's
arrows.
a firing squad.
Just a couple of arrows sticking out of a hunk of meat.
The only thing you'll accomplish with that is just fucking up that deer. Like, nothing good will come of that.
So they crawl under the fence. They're skulking through the woods. All of them have their fingers on their triggers, rifles leveled at each other's backs. Traditional hunting practices.
Yes. These people have taken the safety course.
Yeah. They find a not so clear clearing and they post up. A deer comes galloping in, and they all level their various weaponry at it to get ready to massacre the thing, shoot it at 57 different angles all at once. The blood beat gets faster and faster as Sarah is slowly piecing together what's about to happen.
Wait, are we out here to kill a deer?
Right as they're ready to fire.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
So, right as they're ready to fire, Sarah stands up and screams, "No!" so loud that it breaks the film's color saturation, and the deer escapes. She then flees into the woods as Ted pursues her, screaming her name at a pitch and tone that foreshadows violence to come.
Oh, I thought he was going to catch her and murderize her.
Sarah! Sarah!
There was no concern in his voice whatsoever.
And then Gary was super mad too. He was like,
he slams his rifle on the stump.
Yeah.
Like he breaks his own rifle.
Yeah.
Like Buffalo Jones.
I thought he was going to pull a Bo Jackson and just shatter that thing over his knee. He was pissed.
So the rest of the team follows Ted, and they lose Sarah in the woods. She continues to run when she stumbles into a random man with his stomach torn open, just wandering in the woods. The others arrive to find her on the ground with the recently deceased man.
And I bet you're all wondering what tore open that man's stomach. Beats the shit out of me too, because they never told us.
Nope. This man is not important. We never find out who he actually is. Just okay.
Yeah, just another big old question mark.
Yep. That night, the authorities are questioning Gary about the man that none of them have ever seen before. Gary explains that they were 200 yards away from where they found the man, and they only fired 2 shots in the opposite direction. So it couldn't have been them that hit him. And they ask if it's that old poacher that's been skulking around. He says, no, I don't think it's that poacher. So maybe that poacher's going to show up later. Nah.
I'm thinking that Gary is the poacher. They just haven't caught on that it's him yet. Because he's the one rolling on the fences and shit.
He's like, no,
like,
no,
ever found that old poacher, Gary? No, hadn't seen him in a while.
I'll buy that. So they ask the doctor that's on site if Sarah's all right. And he says, yeah, I gave her my special treatment. 3 aspirin and a shot of brandy. You're a terrible doctor.
Yeah, you went to fucking 8 years of medical school for that?
As they all leave, the cop makes sure to tell them all a Merry Christmas. Because we haven't reminded the audience that this is a Christmas movie in a little while.
Jesus Christ.
So, back at the house, Ted's comforting Sarah, who is still shaken up by the event. As he leaves to let her rest, she tells Ted to take all the paintings with him. Because I guess Mom uses the paintings as portals to look through.
Once again,
that's how it works.
Questions we'll never find out.
Yeah. She fucking loves her own paintings, by the way. Like, there's at least one in every room of the house.
Well,
oh yeah,
most shitty artists do.
So meanwhile,
look, sorry if we have any shitty artist listeners.
Well, Chase and I are artists. I don't have jack shit of my own stuff hanging in my house.
No, I have nothing.
Because y'all aren't shitty artists.
What was I? Meanwhile, Mom is painting in the dark, listening to Gregorian chant music. Ted comes in and they start talking about some Frank guy and how he's sick and possibly angry or something. I really don't know.
Yeah,
I guess
this whole scene was kind of mumbled and seemed to ad-lib.
Yeah.
It was strange.
Yeah. So, and then Ted goes on to start trying to tell her that he wants to get his fender fixed when she drops the bombshell of how she doesn't think she could live with Gary anymore, and Ted just starts slowly backing out of the room while Mom starts questioning him about Sarah, and she says that there's something strange about Sarah, and she feels like she's seen her before, and Ted tries to write it off as deja vu. Later, while Sarah is sleeping, Ted and Molly start to play a game of Monopoly with the cat splayed out on top of the board, like you do.
Well, that happens.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate cat behavior.
That's accurate. They didn't have to coach that cat to do that. It knew.
No, that cat was just like, I'm the banker, and sprawled out.
Mom continues to paint when Sarah wakes up. Mom's hand starts to shake uncontrollably, and the shaking is in step with the classical music that was playing, and I found that humorous.
I didn't notice that.
She gives her possessed hand the paintbrush, and it starts painting violently. Sarah, meanwhile, opens up a trunk in the bedroom to find a full suit of ornamental samurai armor, like you do. So Pete tells Kathy that he's going into town to pick up some booze because he's Pete, and she
Pete's gonna Pete.
Yeah, Pete's gonna Pete. And she's still haphazardly slapping red paint all over the canvas. Sarah also finds a katana among the armor, which she idiotically runs her fingers across the sharp end of the blade.
Yeah.
Ted and Dolly then hear a thud from upstairs. Mom finds Ted and they go to check on Sarah. They find her collapsed on the floor. She tells them that she cut herself on the sword in the trunk, to which Ted says, "But Sarah, there's no trunk in this room." Ooh.
Right then, I had to turn on all the lights in my house.
If I was Sarah, they'd have found me upstairs with that armor on, posing in front of the mirror and shit.
This shit is bad.
Yeah, that's awesome. How did she not try on the armor?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me this was up here? While you assholes are out hunting, I could have been out here cosplaying.
So this is where Mom gets a vision of the little girl again, cutting her finger on the same katana. I really hope this is all going to make sense in the end, because I have an eerie whooshing feeling that it's not.
Yeah.
Mom returns to her shaky painting and gets a vision of the little girl painting. So is this her?
Who knows?
Just
Gary comes in and asks her what's wrong. And she says that she can't tell him. And he immediately goes belligerent. What do you think I am? A piece of plastic that you could push around until I'm all used up and you can dispose of me? What kind of analogy is that?
I don't know.
That's not strong. He got like a 700 on his SATs.
Well, he's not strong, he's like a piece of plastic that you push around until you're done using it.
He's a simple man with simple needs. And he's fed up with her paints and her brushes and her visions. Because even good old boys get fed up, Kathy.
Why can't you paint some boobs on those things?
I'm going to get drunk with Pete.
He heads into the living room where Ted and Dolly are and tells them that they had a small argument. He sits down in front of the tiny little TV, grabs his favorite discarded couch cushion, and settles in on the floor.
I wonder, I read that this house was the house that the director was living in at the time.
Yeah, I read that.
I wonder how much they dressed the house, or if he just lived like that. Because this place was a dump.
Yeah, I think that's just how it was. This stained couch cushion with no couch that it belongs to in sight.
Yeah.
So, Kathy comes in and sits next to Sarah on the couch to read and starts glaring at her immediately. Dolly wonders where Uncle Pete is, and Kathy says not to worry. Pete went into town. I know him very well, and I assure all of you that he is perfectly fine. Cut to Pete having run off the road into a ditch.
It's like Pete's crazy driving finally caught up with him.
Is that why they showed him driving like a maniac, to set up the plausibility of him wrecking on his way back into town?
Once again, Pete's gonna Pete.
Yeah.
He's calling for help on the radio.
Live how Pete lives.
Yeah. Driving 150 miles an hour with his lights off on the wrong side of the road backwards into town.
Yeah, while talking on his phone.
He's got life all figured out.
He gets out of his car after trying to call for help on the radio and goes around to the hood. He's digging around there. More eerie whooshing. He sits down and looks as if he's trying to just pull the tire off without loosening anything.
Pete's gonna Pete.
Yeah.
I'll get this son of a bitch
You
off.
got that drunk strength.
That's right.
He hears something behind him, and the blood beat intensifies. He turns and just kind of dies.
Yeah.
As a dial-up modem noise rings out.
Did you catch the music right before he died? Was that like a Jaws theme ripoff? Did you hear? It was like
yes.
Dun, 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 and then it got faster.
Why the hell not? This movie. So he dies. We get a shot that shows that his throat was slashed somehow, and cut to Sarah staring off into space like maybe this was a vision that she saw. I don't know.
Who knows?
Unclear.
She gets up, returns to the bedroom, and gets back into bed. Meanwhile, at Frank's house, you know Frank. That old character we've come to know and love.
So this is the guy that Ted was talking to his mom about briefly?
Yeah, because he was sick.
I'm
Okay.
just going. Frank's a piece of shit.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to get into that. He's hacking, coughing as his wife's talking to him about taking his medicine. He was apparently shot by another hunter by accident, and he can't wait to get back out there again.
No. I think he's not feeling well. He's sick. I think they heard about the guy that died,
they heard about the other guy that got shot.
Yeah. So she...
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I thought he was shot.
Yeah, so he's talking about he wants to get back out hunting, and his wife isn't so happy with that because of this guy that just got killed in a hunting accident. And then he's like, they happen all the time. Yeah. As if that's going to make her feel better.
That's what I was going to say. His way of like soothing her or easing her worries was, it happens all the time. You don't mind if I wear this dumb hat to bed, do you?
Yeah. Now bring me my tea and scones. Which he does. He demands her to bring him his tea. And, now, bring me my tea. And where's the dog? Call the dog. Bring the dog.
I need my tea and my dog and my orange juice.
Oh, no, he never says orange juice.
Oh, yeah, not yet.
No, not until she brings it in.
Yeah, his wife goes in the kitchen, calls out for Chucky the dog. Random cut to Sarah masturbating in bed.
Yeah.
I thought
with
she was
eerie whooshing.
thought she was getting like ghost fucked, like
something's.
If that was the case, then my theory's out the window.
So more eerie whooshing. Frank's wife finishes the tea and brings it in. Frank, in bed with Chucky now, accuses her of forgetting his orange juice. Where's my orange juice? Frank's a winner.
Frank. She also puts this tray of tea down on what's clearly a waterbed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a waterbed.
I'm like, that stuff's going everywhere. It's gonna make a huge mess.
With the dog in there.
Frank don't care. Frank's like, well, if it spills, you know who's cleaning it up, bitch. What an asshole.
The eerie whooshing peers through the window at Frank and Chucky as Sarah continues whatever the hell's happening with her.
I liked how Chucky stared at the camera too whenever. Like the dog was like, "What the fuck is that outside the window?" Oh well.
Are those intruders? Frank's wife is back getting his orange juice, which appears to be Tang, because it looks like she's pouring powder into water.
Right.
So that's not orange juice, lady. Frank's gonna be upset again.
Well, she's probably making it. She's probably putting that powder in, like the only Tang he's gonna get, fucking asshole.
That's just the arsenic she's adding to it.
Yeah.
As she's mixing up the Tang, the whooshing appears behind her. She turns around and she's run through with a katana. As we cut back and forth from it sliding out of her gut to Sarah arching up mid super orgasm, and it's all very weird.
So this is my theory, and it's kind of a half-assed theory, but I don't know if it's kind of like a chicken and egg thing. Like, I don't know if is Sarah having the orgasm because of the kill, or is her kill causing the orgasm?
I think I
think the kill is causing the orgasm myself.
Okay, because the only time anybody dies in this movie is when she has an orgasm.
When she's So it's
except there's a couple of times that people die where she doesn't have one. So that makes it even more
hunter
confusing.
in the woods.
Yeah.
But we don't know what killed him.
and Pete.
We don't know what killed Pete.
Yeah.
I think they're doing the first person murderer thing.
That could have been
the eerie whooshing was present. It's safe to say they're all connected.
Well, no. Pete's pissed off a lot of people down at the pool hall.
That was just a hit.
Yeah.
So the first two kills in the movie are completely random, unrelated kills.
One was a mountain lion, and the second one was someone just tired of not getting their money.
Yeah. Look, they didn't get Sarah off, so they must not have been the samurai.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is the most insane sentence I think I've ever said.
So Frank leaves his tea and scones in Chucky to investigate where his wife is with his goddamn orange juice. He walks into the kitchen to find her dead. Sarah starts up with round 2 in bed as Frank turns around to more whooshing and flees. He slow motion runs down the hallway and leaps through the goddamn window.
That was amazing.
I love that part.
Yeah, I think the director was the guy, was the stuntman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he fucking went for it.
Oh, he committed.
Yeah. He threw himself like 30 feet out into the yard.
He convinced me of one thing: Frank ain't sick.
No.
That son of a bitch.
That dude just wanted to stay home and watch Price is Right. Wasn't sick at all.
Oh, God. So he gets up, runs to his van, starts it up. He blows through multiple stop signs on his way to a gas station to look for help, but the whooshing isn't far behind. He gets in back in his van and he drives away. Back at the house, Mom, I'm going to start calling her Kathy because I figured out what her name was at this point. Kathy's having a vision. Ted and Dolly try to help her, but they're just kind of like shaking her around. Frank has to abandon his van as Sarah continues going to town on herself. She arches up for super orgasm number 2, so you know Frank's number's about to be up.
Oh, yeah.
He arrives at the house, which, by the way, has the shittiest Christmas lights on it that I've ever... It's like they wadded them up around one window and then took the end and just flung it on the roof and said, fuck it.
Done.
That was Gary. Gary was out there with his headphones, and he did that, and he was like, look, I can do art too.
So Frank approaches the house. The samurai approaches him. This is the first time we actually see the samurai. Right. We get the silhouette of him. He cries out in pain as he reaches the door. Everyone in the house gets up to investigate. Ted and Gary open up the front door to see Frank's face slashed up and shoved through a window.
This shit is so funny to me. Because this is zoom number 2, where they go way farther than I expected them to. Yeah. They just zoom like right up into this like bloody Gene Shalit face. It's like full frame, just his mustache.
Gene Shalit.
Oh, man.
Oh, God. From inside, Dolly screams as the fireplace explodes, and she runs into another room. The samurai gets closer, and some more poltergeist shit starts going down. The windows are opening and closing. Kitchen utensils are shaking and clattering. The Carnage Ghost could really take a lesson from this house.
Yeah.
It ain't no subtle nudging around here. Gary tries to open the door, but when he grabs the knob, his hand glows red, flashes, and a terrible rotoscope He-Man sparkles. And a sound is heard, described by the subtitles as mystical boinging. The first of many.
Boinging.
Hey, mystical boinging. Isn't that what Sarah's doing upstairs in the bedroom? Oh!
Oh!
I was saving that for whatever Ted was goosing. I was going to say that was the mystical boinging.
Oh, shit, I didn't have my rim shot ready. God damn it.
Oh, you're the worst.
So, then the kitchen attacks Gary as boxes of snacks and sundries fly at him with mystical whooshings now. We're mixing them up.
The ancient Japanese art of flinging Quaker Oats at dudes.
And for some reason, like all I can think, there was two times in the movie that I thought it was like a nod to Japanese culture. One was whenever he asked for the tea. I was like, oh, maybe it's like a tea ceremony. And the second one was when the shit was flying off the shelves. There was a pack of ramen noodles. I was like, oh, there's the subtle nods to Japan right there.
Yeah.
We're all good.
Oh, Christ. So, the assault of product placement renders Gary a heap on the floor. Ted and Dolly run into the bedroom where Sarah is to find the hallway glowing blue. He picks up a golf club and stretches it out to the door and is mystically boinged for his trouble. They both back away as a ghostly arm wielding a katana smashes through the window. Dolly runs to hide in the closet, and Ted follows her to try to get her out. The door closes on them, trapping them both inside.
Dolly is straight up losing her shit right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dolly is, she's lost her mind at this point. Kathy, convulsing in the living room, asks, "Who are you and what do you want?" The samurai warrior appears as Kathy demands to be answered. It draws its katana and starts to push it through the door to the closet where Dolly and Ted are. Kathy charges up her own mystical boinging powers, and her hands start to glow red as she screams out to go away, and then the house returns to normal.
Olive oil straight up turned into the Shogun of Harlem.
So Ted leaves the closet with Dolly screaming like a jackass inside. Kathy finds Gary, bleeding on the floor but alive. Kathy again refuses to explain anything.
Oh, this was so frustrating.
Imagine how Gary feels.
Yeah. She tells Ted that she's a mother and she wouldn't do anything like this. And he would never take me away from you, and he would never take you and Dolly away from me. Okay, Mom.
Yeah, and then Ted's just like, Mama, you don't mean...
Yeah.
You don't mean... Mama, you don't mean... And then it fades out, and you're like, what the fuck does she mean?
Yeah. Cut away, completely informationless.
Oh, yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Is the samurai their father? Is he God? Like, who's the samurai? Somebody tell me.
I'm at a loss.
Yeah, no clue.
So later, Kathy and Ted comfort Dolly and Gary as they rest. Gary was beaten within an inch of his life by food products, and Dolly's just kind of a giant baby person. That's all that's wrong with her.
Yeah.
Ted slips into the bedroom with Sarah, who's asleep. He gets in bed with her. The eerie whooshing returns while a harmonica is being played out in the woods. We meet some more intelligent-looking individuals huddled around a campfire. Cut back to the house. Ted and Sarah start getting frisky, so bad news for these campers.
Right.
The whooshing slowly approaches the campfire. More random shots of Buddha statues as Ted and Sarah start to really ramp it up. One of the campers gets up and says, "Your soup makes me want to pee," and shuffles off into the woods. Before he can relieve himself, the samurai appears in all its blue glowing majesty and drives its katana into the neck of this guy just as Sarah pops off. The samurai sheathes
let me interject here. They heard the thud when Sarah hit the ground from cutting her finger, but nobody hears her moans of passion throughout that house.
I had a similar note earlier that I didn't get to. But I'm like, yeah, they just can't hear her up there, like, just coming all over the place. Like, it's ridiculous.
You think Dolly would look across that Monopoly board at Ted and be like, dude,
what's with your girl?
I think Sarah's suffering from dick madness.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Okay, so the samurai sheathed his weapon with a mystical boing as the camper slumps back to his friends. The samurai approaches the remaining two campers as one grabs a flaming stick from the fire to defend himself, to no avail. Sarah busts one out for every redneck slaughtered as we fade away to the next day.
See, she had a great night.
Yeah.
She had a great night, man. I mean, it cost like 6 people's lives, but like she got there 6 times. I mean, I like films that celebrate the female orgasm. You know what I mean?
Oh my God!
Even if it causes random death,
they're costly.
See that's what you don't know, ladies. Well, every time it happens, a samurai randomly kills someone.
That was the first draft of What a Wonderful Life. Every time a lady gets there, the samurai kills a redneck.
Oh my God!
Christ.
It's a wonderful life. I gotta correct.
one of those school posters, if I've ever seen one, about the dangers of sex.
Oh man! All right. So next day, Gary's loading up Frank's corpse into his truck. Chuki's wandering around in the fields. I thought Chuki was going to have a part to play. Sadly, no. The truck won't start, so he's going to have to take the horse. So I guess he's just going to drag old Frank back to town.
Why should he even be moving the body at all?
No.
Well, I guess they don't. Do they not have phones?
I think their phone burned up in the Poltergeist episode.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's a shot of it burnt up.
But, see, I thought that for a second, too, but then I remembered. They have a freaking radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just between them and Pete.
No, come on.
It's a Pete-only radio. That's the Pete signal.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
So, Ted comes out, trusty rifle in hand, as Dolly goes into Kathy's studio. Kathy invades Dolly's mind and exclaims, "Dolly, you, sweet Jesus, just give us something.
Something.
Any information at all." They proceed to have a silent mind battle when they give up, and then Kathy gives Dolly a hug and they make up. And that's it.
I kept
for
waiting
that
for
riveting scene.
someone's head to explode scanner style.
Yeah. It looked like it was going to happen.
So
also, does anybody else notice that from last night at the Monopoly game through the rest of the movie, Dolly is not wearing pants?
Yeah. She's wearing a shirt and thigh-high socks.
Like leg warmers or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she goes out in the woods and everything.
So Gary goes riding across the field, Frankless. Dolly wanders out into the woods looking for Ted, when suddenly the robot from RoboWar shows up and starts spying on Dolly as we get this grainy red blown out filter over the movie.
Yeah, I was like, this is super ineffective predator vision. Like, you can't see anything.
We've never established that the samurai has predator vision.
That's also true.
He whooshes, but he's never had vision.
Every time we've been
it's just normal
in
vision.
his point of view, yeah, it's just been normal.
Well, and then when we see that new point of view, it's really T-Rex vision, because as soon as she stopped moving, she disappeared into the background.
Yes.
Oh, Lord. So Ted is sitting on a log sulking, also being watched by whatever.
Playing with his bolt again.
Yeah. He's sitting there crying, just opening and closing that gun.
Yeah. And it's playing this weird music with the RoboWar filter, and I don't know what this sequence is supposed to be because it goes on for a while. The whooshing comes back, so I have to assume Sarah's spanking herself off in the toilet somewhere. The samurai appears to Dolly and holds out his arm and says, in English, "Come to me!" So it
was creepy. It was scary.
Not a Japanese samurai. Gary arrives somewhat. Okay.
Wait, you know what just hit me? You're right. The samurai spoke English.
Yeah, he speaks English for the whole thing.
That just hit me. I'm sitting there thinking about tea ceremonies on waterbeds and ramen noodles. I'm like, hold on, that didn't even hit me. That thing's speaking English.
It's just some fucking weeaboo ghost.
So Gary arrives somewhere and ties up his horse, and then hears Dolly scream. So he's back. Where did he go? Did he ever get there? What was the point of that?
I'm just trying to get
Are there
away
any
from
horse
that lady.
socks? Is anyone even listening to me? He grabs the axe from the barn and runs into the woods, searches for Dolly as she's wandering through the trees. Ted and Gary find her just as the samurai appears again. Gary tells Ted to shoot it, but Ted's fumbling around with that goddamn bolt on the rifle so much he broke it and the rifle won't work anymore.
What an idiot.
Gary gets it away from him, but the samurai's gone. And so is Dolly, again. They go look for her, they find her behind a log, and Gary sees a blue glow off in the distance. So they hide behind the log, and Gary waits for his moment to strike, and he takes it. And after a mandatory mystical boing, the suit of armor drops to the ground empty. Dolly says, Mom was right. About what?
She said nothing. She's given no information.
Fuck, this movie's aggravating. Back home, Mom has painted a painting of a samurai that I actually kind of liked. John, what'd you think?
Yeah, I actually didn't hate the art at all, in this movie. I had problems with, the art she made generally didn't look like it was made with a brush. It made it look like it was more done with mediums and stuff like that, like poured over a canvas. But she also painted in a blacked out room with like a single bulb. It's like not ideal for painting. But yeah, that was an alright painting. I'm surprised that they had decent artwork in this movie.
Yeah. Ted, Dolly, and Gary approach the house as Sarah watches through the window, still in bed, exhausted from the constant masturbation.
So dehydrated.
Gary shows Kathy that they finally stopped the ghost and they have its armor. And Kathy tells him to burn it quickly. Get it out of here because it's evil. Gary refuses, saying that it's too important. He's got to get it to the police. But really, he's thinking, this is super cool. I need to keep
this. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not throwing out a suit of samurai armor, you crazy woman.
How did none of these people try that armor on? It's crazy to me. It's the very first thing I'd do.
Yeah. When he decided to keep it, Sarah strapped on her carpal tunnel little thing on her wrist and said, all right, time to get busy again.
No one was allowed to put it on because it belonged to the director. Thus why every shot of the samurai, it's the director in the suit.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that was this whole...
This is my awesome suit of armor, and only I can wear it. I know it's supposed to kind of, I guess, sort of be Sarah in the armor, or like the spirit of Sarah or something. I don't know. I'm wearing the goddamn armor.
Yeah. This guy wanted to make a movie. He took an inventory of his assets, which included this house and a suit of samurai armor. And he threw some nonsense script together.
Yeah. People have to see this armor.
Some unsettling music kicks up and whispering starts. You start to hear some whispering as we return to Sarah in the bedroom. Well, looks like it's old masturbate o'clock. So
Sarah's going to go blind.
She moves a jar that's on the dresser to find a picture of the little girl that we've gotten glimpses of that may or may not be important. And then the photo just bursts into flames. Ted comes into the room to see Sarah pyrokinesising the photo. Ted slowly approaches Sarah in a very menacing way. I don't know why. He just kind of has his mouth open and walks at her. And then she casts a spell on him and envelops him in blue light, freezing him in time. Because why the hell not?
Yeah.
Whew.
And then, oh my God, Blake, I hope you got this note too, because as he's frozen in this blue light, the unprecedented happens. He goes cross-eyed.
I didn't notice that. Damn it. To be quite honest, while all this was going on, I was dozing off pretty hard, so that's probably why.
Yeah, she froze him, and he starts, convulsing, and his eyes go crossed, and it was the best thing in the world.
Shit. I missed it.
She then blasts him into the wall, knocking him out. Kathy watches Gary run out to his horse, then hears strange whispers from the next room. She opens the door to see a shadowy figure say, "Sister, do you remember me?" So
what kind of effect was that on that voice, though?
It's like a warbly kind of like somebody yelling into a spittoon.
Well, I couldn't
kind of sound.
If I wouldn't have had the captions on, I'd have had no clue what it said.
Oh yeah, no way.
Yeah, I mean,
so she is the brother of a samurai warrior, is what I'm getting from this.
Wait, no.
I don't know.
The best I gathered, maybe they were both samurai. And they had reincarnated into these new bodies.
But what? Okay, is this is the part where we start getting the the old footage from World War II, right?
Well, it shows the warrior in full kabuki face paint, and I couldn't tell, was this Sarah?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. It was Sarah in kabuki face paint. So she's become the warrior. She puts on the samurai helmet. Kathy says, "So, it is you," but she doesn't let us know. No. She keeps that little nugget to herself.
I mean, why should we know?
She asked.
We're just the stupid audience.
Exactly.
She asked the warrior, "How do you want to die this time?"
See? Reincarnated.
I give up.
I think that they were samurai warriors. Maybe related, maybe not. I don't know.
He called her sister.
Yeah, in this lifetime.
They gotta be. Wait, whoa. Okay. So they were different samurai warriors, unrelated, that killed each other. Reincarnated into brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. This has been going on for a long time, longer than you can really comprehend. Because the glimpses of World War II was just another set of their lifetimes.
These two are Wolverine and Sabretooth.
Wolverine and Sabretooth, yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, God. So,
which X-Men team are we going to mention this episode?
Yeah. Kathy says that it chose hell, and she took the oath, as the movie gets the interference from the History Channel and the random black and white World War II footage. Yeah. And the samurai kind of launches its sheath at her.
Yeah.
And she kind of just slaps it away. "I know what you want, but you can't destroy me." And I'm done with this movie. The samurai approaches, flourishing its katana at her, and you know the director was loving doing this. He's been waiting the whole movie to do this. She says some stuff, but the goddamn sound effects are so freaking loud, you can't understand any of it, and the subtitles couldn't pick it up either. She says something like, "It won't work," and ducks into her studio. Outside, Gary is randomly struck by a psychic attack and drops to the ground in agony. Back inside, the samurai blasts open the door to the studio and says, "Your time has come." And Kathy's still saying that it can't destroy her. It responds by saying, "I don't want to. Your power will protect you."
What the So vague.
So it doesn't want to kill her? It doesn't want to destroy her? No? I don't know.
I think it's just over y'all's heads.
Yes.
But then it says that she can't destroy him with her power. What is happening?
How is it a him now?
I don't know.
I think it's still Sarah.
Of course it's still Sarah, but what?
I think
Sarah's a dude speaking.
Sarah's been possessed by whatever it is.
Yeah.
No, Sarah is that. That's why they recognize each other.
No, I got it. There were two different samurais. They had their little kerfluffle.
Right.
They reincarnated into Sarah and her sibling. The sibling was the little girl. She died. That samurai reincarnated into Sarah and found her way back to Kathy.
I like it.
You with me?
Yeah.
I like it.
I think this is coming together now.
Or maybe they're the same samurai.
No.
Don't muddy the water with the... This is hard enough. While this showdown's... Go ahead, John.
At this point, they're playing Karl Orff's O Fortuna. I'm like, you don't get to use a song of that level of epicness for your stupid, ghost fucked by a samurai movie.
The epic song is being played in the background. Yeah. And for those of you that might not know what O Fortuna is, think of that epic chanty song, and you're thinking of it. It's that one.
Yeah.
So, while that's happening, Kathy's hands start glowing red again as the samurai collapses into the ground, screaming, "It's impossible! You can't!"
And then she yelled, "Who's the baddest?"
Gary shakes off the pain and returns to Kathy. He bursts into the studio to find the samurai and Kathy in a psychic stalemate. He draws a knife and then collapses. Thanks, Gary.
Yeah.
The samurai then launches his katana into Gary's stomach and says, "Well done." The samurai then draws its wakizashi.
Whoa, now.
His second smaller sword for fighting indoors, and stabs Kathy. "Well done." Again. It's his catchphrase now. Ted enters the room to see his mother dead and desiccated like a mummy.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck happened to Kathy's face? She's a synthetic from Alien now? She's Ash after getting his head knocked off in Alien now?
Sure.
I don't understand. She's like covered in hot glue or something.
So the samurai raises its blade, and just before it strikes down Ted, Dolly dramatically enters the room.
Dramatically? She like wanders in.
She would walk by.
Oh, you guys shooting a scene? So many a mystic boings ring out as Dolly and Ted join hands and conjure up some red glowing stuff of their own.
Wonder Twins activate.
So, and the guy playing Ted really gets into it.
Yeah, he does.
They manage to force push the samurai into the wall, and it screams, "You can't do that!" Cut to outside, the sky grows dark, lightning strikes around the house, Kathy's paintings all burst into flames, and the samurai's vaporized as O Fortuna climaxes. But not Sarah anymore. Dolly breaks down crying, and Ted consoles her. They walk outside and just kind of wander off into the field. They're just going to walk out into the wild.
Yep.
Roll credits.
That's it.
Why was the last shot of the movie so bad? Did you guys notice this, that the quality like dropped significantly?
Yeah. Hey, here's a question for you. Why?
Well, I can tell you why the quality dropped.
Just why?
No,
in general.
I know why. Because much like the ending of Field Freak, this movie didn't happen. It was just a videotape that Gary was watching on the 5-inch TV with his headphones.
He just fell asleep and this is a dream he had.
Yeah.
I like that explanation better than anything I can come up with.
So let's go over what we don't know.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Everything.
Yeah.
We don't know who the little girl was exactly.
No.
We don't know Mom's relation to the samurai spirit.
No, we don't know anything about the samurai thing at all.
Nothing about the samurai. Why a samurai? Why couldn't it have been the spirit of some old drunk hunter?
Why could nobody see the trunk?
Yeah, where'd the armor come from if it's not in a trunk? It's clearly physically like real.
Right.
I don't like it.
Dude,
why did they call Pete the Red Baron?
There's still way more questions. Like, did Dolly and Ted both? Do they all know they have psychic powers from the beginning, or did they just discover that
is it
they
a family of psychics?
Oh my god!
I'm sorry, I picked this goddamn movie.
It should be.
I thought this was going to be a fun time. It was just aggravating.
You know, somebody asked me about the movie I was watching this week, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it should be a fun one." And then about halfway through, I sent them a text and said, "Just like every week, it wasn't fun." Like every week, I'm like, "No, this is going to be a good one." Nope. Like Buffalo Rider, I thought that was good. I mean, how could that be a miss? Oh God.
I don't know. Amazon is leading us down some treacherous paths, finding some of these movies.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, this one had a couple of things going for it, I thought. Like, it had a little bit of style. There were some pretty cool, like, compositions. It was shot on film.
How can you say it had good compositions when the asshole shooting it didn't know what fucking screen size he was shooting it for.
Only for part of it.
To me, the only good thing in this movie is when Frank jumped out the window.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
That was pretty good.
It definitely had an atmosphere to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to validate the time that I spent watching it somehow.
You can't.
There's got to be value in here somewhere.
There is.
I really don't think there is. Oh, you want the value? Let's see if you guys can get some bonus points.
Okay.
That'll be the value.
All right.
Let's do it.
Okay. Bonus point time. 2 questions. Okay. I've only got 3 questions because I was so aghast watching this movie. I didn't really write much down. Okay, so question number 1. When Dolly tells Gary that the Red Baron is coming over, what does Gary call him? Question number 2. How many paintings does Ted take out of the bedroom? All right. Here we go.
Okay.
Let's find out. What did Gary call the Red Baron?
I just said a fool because I didn't know.
I put drunk Baron.
Nope.
Nah.
Both wrong. The old mosquito killer.
He did say that. You're right.
Yeah. Add that to the pile of questions. I don't know what the fuck that means.
Question 2. How many paintings does Ted take out of the bedroom?
2.
I also got 2.
And you both got a bonus point.
Hey. All right.
It works for me.
Blake's on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many is that for you, John? Is that 1 or 2?
2.
That's 2, yeah. So I got 2. John's got 2. Blake's on the board with 1.
Yeah.
Well, you're still not in the lead, Blake, so I guess you still don't care.
No, I do not.
Oh, well.
How could this be such a miss? How?
Man, when I read the description of this, I thought for sure this was going to be a highlight of the season.
Man.
I was massively wrong.
No, we can't trust our instincts anymore.
I know. Well, with that one done, we need to find out what we're doing next, Blake.
Okay. All right.
Time for Coming to Trashers.
Yes. Hold on to your butts.
Oh, Lord.
All right.
There's a little pre-story to this as Blake begged us to let him do this movie.
We had to bend a rule.
Because we had to bend a rule that was created because of you for this exact reason.
Yeah, so like half of it's a Chinese movie where half of it's in Chinese and the other half is in English. It all depends on what nationality the actor is in front of the camera. But
yeah, so whenever a Chinese person is speaking, it's going to be subtitled.
Yeah.
Whenever an English-speaking person is speaking, it's going to be in English.
Yes. Yeah.
And it had better damn well be worth it, because I swear to God.
Well, okay. So this is a new movie. It came out in 2017.
Whoa.
It's 110 minutes long. It has a 3.9 on IMDb, and it doesn't even come up on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, you can't even get a fucking audience score on it. It's called The China Salesman.
God. Oh my God.
So,
what are you doing? I thought this was going to be like an old 70s kung fu movie or something. No. You found the goddamn Chinese version of Go With the Flow, you son of a bitch.
Didn't. I promise you I didn't. Let me read the summary, and I defy you to hear this summary and think that. All right, hold on to your butts. Yan Zhang, a young Chinese IT engineer who volunteers to go to North Africa and help the company he works for to win a competition. The winner can own the right to control the communication between South and North, French spy Michael works for the West. His boss ordered him to go to North Africa and win the competition, and they can control the great mineral resources of Africa. He hired the best mercenary in Africa, whose name is Lauder, and a former general, Kaba, to help him. Yan has discovered their conspiracy. He is the only one who can stop them.
It sounds like a boring fucking movie.
I agree. Until you find out why I would choose such a crazy movie. And it's because of the hired mercenaries. One of the mercenaries is a patron saint of Garbage Theater.
Uh-oh.
The other
Uh-oh.
is one of my heroes, like real life, honest to God heroes. And they have no business being together on screen.
Oh my God.
Lauder, whatever his name is played by none other than Steven Seagal.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Kaba is played by Mike fucking Tyson.
Come on.
Oh my God.
Yes, and they have fight scenes with each other.
What the fuck? How have I not heard of this?
And Tyson talks with like a Chinese accent.
Oh my God.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh my God.
This is gonna be the worst of the worst, I'm telling you now. But since it's from 2017, the fight scenes are heavily stylized and they look fantastic. But you can't get over the fact that this is Mike fucking Tyson and Steven Seagal.
Oh my God. What? Okay, I was fairly certain this was going to be a Seagal movie.
Well, yeah.
But never in a billion years could I have predicted Mike Tyson.
No. I was just looking for Seagal movies, and then I came across, I was like, is that Mike Tyson?
Oh my God. Well, Mike Tyson's still working, apparently.
I love that dude.
He's not just doing his Adult Swim cartoon.
One of my heroes.
Oh, Lord almighty. Well, what's it called again?
The China Salesman.
The China Salesman.
Where can we watch this?
On YouTube, and I checked it. You can watch it.
Okay, you better have watched more than the first 30 goddamn seconds.
I've watched damn near all of this movie.
Oh, boy.
Okay. So, we'll be watching The China Salesman. Kind of starring Steven Seagal and Mike Tyson.
Yep.
Lord.
Are they actually in it like that much? Or are they just cameos?
They're more than cameos. They're supporting roles.
Yeah. Well, that'll.
It's worth the price of admission to hear Tyson talk.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because when American actors do Chinese movies, they'll sometimes get them to speak with kind of like the way a Chinese person would speak English, so it's easier for the Chinese to understand. Well, Tyson, I mean, it is awesome.
Oh, Lord. Okay, well, we'll be watching The China Salesman next. Before I go into the closing, I just want to say that we had a listener reach out to us recently. Name's Terry. Hi, Terry.
Yo.
And he brought up some interesting points about we changed format for this season from people that have listened to our previous seasons where we used to do 5 questions and we kept track throughout the season. We switched it up to where we were just doing a couple bonus questions and then we're going to do a big quiz at the end to see who the winner is. And we want feedback from you guys. Are you liking it this way? Do you like it the other way? Should we go back to the other way next season? Let us know. So reach out to us. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/Garbage Theater, Twitter at @Garbage_Theater, Instagram at garbage_theater. Email us at garbagetheaterpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. What are we doing that you like? What are we doing that you don't like? Because we want to craft this thing into the best show we can make it. We're not, I mean, the structure is going to stay the same. We're going to watch a terrible movie, we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to quiz each other on it in some fashion. But we're not married to any of the ways we do it. So we want to do it for what's most fun for you guys to listen to. So if you liked hearing us complain about Blake's goddamn questions, we'll go back to that. Because let's be honest, the reason we're doing it this way is to have a fourth party write the questions so that Blake's taken out of the equation.
Yeah, we're just like toying around with the format, seeing what works, but yeah, we need the feedback really to know if you're enjoying it or not. Yeah.
So again, any of those channels, reach out to us, let us know. If you like what we're doing, leave us a review on iTunes. It helps us get out there in front of more people. Share us with your friends on Facebook. Retweet our episodes to anyone that you think might like listening to us. I can't stop thinking about fucking Mike Tyson and Steven Seagal.
I smell a rule change coming.
Oh man, it's a good thing that I'm fairly sure Seagal and Van Damme refused to work together, because there would definitely have to be a rule: no movies starring more than one of our patron saints, because it's too much.
Seagal versus Van Damme, directed by Godfrey Ho.
That would be a nightmare.
Oh god,
my head would.
And
explode.
John, I mean, John hasn't really solidified what his is. I mean, I know Godfrey Ho was the first one, but then we also brought up Cameron Mitchell as a possibility.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and that's a pretty stout contender. Because I did a search for Cameron Mitchell movies. There's a bunch of them out there, and they're all garbage. So.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
John, he's got to.
I gotta get there.
I guess you gotta get there. Yeah, you gotta win.
Yeah, you gotta win. Quit cheating.
You gotta get there like Sarah gets there. And then a poor redneck is seppuku'd out in the woods.
Oh,
all right. Any closing comments before we put a peg in this one?
Nope. I'm good.
No, nothing.
Sorry,
John.
Sorry, everybody.
Nothing.
I wish we had answers.
I think our theory of the two samurai spirits had a feud. One died. The other one died eventually. They both went into Kathy and her sister, who was a kid, who died as a kid, who went into Sarah, who sought her out, and they had their final little battle.
Who gives a shit?
That's the best I can do. So, on that disappointing sour note, I guess we'll see you next time when we watch The China Salesman. See you then, folks.